of our 6 best of 5 show that we have today. At least, maybe a few more.
Into game we go for Yansu, map number 1 in this best of 5 up in the top right-hand corner. The blue Protoss player, his name is Haas.
Du hast.
Haas.
Du hast mich gefragt und ich hab nichts gesagt.
Of the Yowie Flash Wolves, the Taiwanese player, trying to represent his team, who has quite a presence here in this challenger competition. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the red Protoss player, he is Root Sage.
Man, I don't think I have that. I haven't seen it yet. I'm in a team too. What's that? Wow. Kind of bumped out there over here, Ben. I want a spinning root logo next to my name too. Looks beautiful. I'm very curious to see how Sage is going to play, Ben. I like watching Sage's stream. Sage is one of the Protoss players en route that streams a lot. Of course, Minigun is streaming a lot as well. We will see Minigun in action later today, so I hope you guys are pumped for that, as he will go up against Saro Vetti, who was a little bit of a surprise in the qualifier, but Chad is in good shape, Ben. But who's also in good shape is most likely Sage. Whenever Sage really wants, most of the time he gets like top 3 GM at least, if not top 1. And overall, he's really good. And you know, I was already kind of a fan from him last year when I saw him do well, even before he joined Sage, before he joined Root. But on a certain moment, I also kind of feel like he plateaued a little bit. Like I felt Sage kind of stopped improving. Last year, we saw him multiple times in WCS, and you know, he had a reasonable run. But Sage was kind of the player that he's beating the players you expect him to beat, and he's losing to the players you expect him to lose to. Not really a whole lot of funky surprises around Sage. And I hope that we're gonna see, you know, him excel in 2014, because I know that he has the skill to do so. Perhaps he just gets a little nervous, sometimes makes really silly and unorthodox decisions in official games, while you know, we know that he's capable of doing better, we know that he's super solid, but every now and then when there's a lot on the line, he just starts going a little cray-cray.
Well, I think it often comes down to it. When there's a lot on the line, he doesn't perform at the level that we expect him to, and it could be a nerves thing. He spoke to that a little bit at the WCS when he was here in California with us. And you know, I've been nervous, and it really showed in his play. Sage is an excellent Protoss player with some very unique stylistic, I guess, traits. He was one of the first real multi-pronged Protoss players that kind of grew to prominence last year. Now that's kind of how all the Protoss players are saying. So in ways, Sage is a bit of a pioneer, but I don't know, man. He's had issues. He's had some struggles.
Both players opening up with a double gateway opening over here, but Sage is getting a really quick mothership core. Then he's getting the Stalker as well. Haas, I want to say Saj, it's like a mix of both names. Haas, on the other hand, decides to go with a Stalker first. Will most likely get a mothership core for himself as well after he gets a few more probes. What this means is there's going to be a little bit of additional energy on the mothership core of Sage. He might actually use the Scout as well. These kind of builds are scary though, because he knows he's playing against a double gate opening. If this mothership core gets caught out in the open ban against Stalkers, he might either be forced to use a very early time warp, or he might be forced to recall out. I wonder how far he's going to go with this. I am personally not a very big fan of doing stuff like this with your mothership core. It could really backfire. He's getting Sentry on the other side of the map, but let's not forget that we're only 2 gates and a Twilight. If you run into 3 Stalkers very quickly and you do not have your mothership core at home, then even if you force field, like, you don't have any DPS to actually finish off the units that you force field off, unless you go for super defensive force field, but then you force yourself to warp in more and more sentries, so your attack is going to be very delayed. But well, we'll see how this is going to work out for Sage.
Thus far, we are seeing identical builds from both these players. Twilight's finishing up at the same time. Now there's a deviation, as it's Haas saying, I'm going to go Dark Shrine. Oh, nope, never mind. Not a deviation. Same builds. Sage also going to be going with that Dark Shrine.
Right? Or never?
I don't think so.
Okay. I guess we're just a little later.
So both players going with the DT openings. Now, we did see some Chinese play yesterday in the Violet versus Top series.
Okay, it's a good scout. At least he gets the confirmation that there is a Twilight Council. He also knows there is Dark Templars. At the same time, he's dropping a Robo, but Haas on the other end was already dropping the Robo. Haas doesn't know what Sage knows yet, but what he will have is a little quicker DTs, and his mothership core is a little more healthy. And he also found the probe, and he's denying this pylon. I have a feeling that Haas is pretty well aware, Ben, of what he's playing against.
Sage has managed to sniff out the probe of Haas, but he didn't do anything about that pylon. Did he see it, I wonder? Surely he did. Yeah, he did. Now he's going to send his entire army over there to to shut it down. Dark Shrine's done though, so or was it canceled? It was canceled. Wow, Haas mixing it up.
I don't mind that too much. I don't think those DTs would have done all that much, considering the fact that they got scouted. I think that's a pretty solid play. I would have actually liked to see him fight for this pylon and try to keep this pylon alive. It's a risky maneuver, of course, because if you get caught out of position with 1 or 2 stalkers in PvP, if it's one base against one base, and especially if it turns into a blink versus blink, if you lose 2 stalkers, you're gonna have a really hard time already to come back, because players on this level, they'll just be like, hey, I got more HP than you, I'm not gonna lose this fight. Even if you micro slightly better, I'm still gonna be completely okay. Either way, Haasband, despite never seeing that Dark Shrine, he did see the Twilight, he was worried about it. First DT is going to run straight into the Observer when it popped. Great opening here for Haas, in my opinion.
Yeah, things are looking phenomenal. He managed to get his expansion down around the same time as Sage. Now his Blink is finishing up, and if only he had cleaned up this pylon, I would be loving his position. But right now, Sage does have the ability to run DTs into the main base.
That could be true, but at the same time, Sage probably has to worry about what he does at home. Now, he will be more than safe with a Photon Overcharge, and as soon as he has 1 Immortal. But of course, these Blink Stalkers don't have to fight straight up. Haas can keep Sage perhaps in the dark a little bit, and then he can maybe blink in 4 Stalkers in the main base, and then start picking off probes in a blink of an eye. Blink of an eye. You will be able to get like 6, 7, 8 probes, and that's just really huge in PvP.
Haas is going to go ahead and set up another forward pylon. The Stalker advantage is heavily on Haas's side of the map, but Sage has an Immortal now.
Yeah, he can't fight straight up, that's just no way, especially now with Photon Overcharge. It's going to be very important then how both players control their Observer. Haas should definitely not lose his Observer, because then he's going to lose the ability to spread Sage out.
Yeah, right now Haas... he's going to go ahead and blink up into the main base. This is a dangerous game, and
not sure if I like that.
First force field is going to go down, and Haas is almost immediately going to have to evacuate. He does get out of there.
I only loses a Stalker, so it wasn't the end of the world. At the same time, a DT is... no, sorry, not a DT. That was a very visible DT.
Not a very good DT.
If it was a DT, that would be pretty okay, though.
He dropped out of the Dark Templar Academy.
Oh, here's a DT.
Here's a DT follow-up, but there's also a second Observer.
Yeah, Observer's a little bit out of position, though, Ben. It's going to do damage. This one Dark Templar is going to get 5, 6 probes, I think.
Oh, Haas hasn't even realized that he's still not responding to it, and now, as soon as that DT starts making swipes, we're going to see him immediately pull probes. He's going to run everything over to where that Observer is. The final kill count on this Dark Templar is going to be 4. Oh, Photon Overcharge, the most unnecessary Photon Overcharge I've ever seen.
Alright, so now Haas does want to do something with his Stalkers. He should... there's much score over here. It's hard to say. Alright, Sage is going to try to do something about these 4 Stalkers over here. This is your moment, Haas. This is when you want to blink into that main base. Goes for the defensive blink, and now he's indeed going to go for it. There's a little bit of SimCity here, but now the Empire strikes back, and he will be able to get a
careful. This is happening. There's a Dark Templar in the natural of Haas. It's already killed 5 probes. It's going to get a 6th probe. It's going to get a Sentry now. As while Haas is dealing damage with his Stalker, he's taking massive damage in his natural 11 kills on that Dark Templar. As Sage has just dealt critical damage.
These Stalkers did some pretty serious work as well, though. It was kind of even, because that first Dark Templar got 4 kills. So yes, this one DT definitely got a few kills too many. He actually had another Photon Overcharge, so he should have used it. Well, at the end of the day, the only thing that is definitely working for Sage is that all this harassment for Haas has not been for free. It's actually been pretty expensive. He's investing a lot of Stalkers, and he's not really transitioning out of something. Well, Sage already has the Robo Bay on the way. And of course, he's sitting on 3 Immortals, and hey, sitting on 3 Immortals is very, very
Sage is in great shape, man. He's got the worker lead. He's got these Immortals out on the map. He's going to catch some Stalkers in the middle of nowhere. And Haas, a little bit late on the blink, is going to lose another Stalker. He'll also lose this forward pylon. And that's going to eliminate any and all map control that he might have had.
And also loses the ability to really do that much with these Stalkers.
Meanwhile, Sage is sending a Warp Prism in another, well, it'll most certainly be a DT Warp in, towards the main base, while an army into the natural. So I feel like this is probably just going to be the end.
No, it's not that easy, though. Against Photon Overcharge, never underestimate the defensive power of Protoss with Photon Overcharge and a Time Warp. Yes, that Dark Templar harass can do a lot of damage, but Sage should not overcommit. After all, he's the one with better tech, and he's not doing that. He's just going to drop a DT in the main. He saw that army of Haas, and then he's like, that's actually kind of scary. That could go bad for me.
Sage, very Johnny on the spot, pulls his probes before even losing one. Dark Templar managed only a single swipe on workers.
Starts working on the pylon. Still annoying. Good Warp Prism used there by Sage. It just makes everything a little more. One DT actually sneaks into the natural, but there are 2 observers on the map for Haas. But during all this, Sage is creating a very comfortable and nice work lead for himself. He's up 14 workers by now. Yes, 14 it is. I want to make sure that it was not 12, because it was 12 before. But I was thinking ahead of time, and I was on the money.
Yeah, Sage is in great shape. His first Colossus is out on the map. Thermal Lance is on the way. He's getting a second Colossus and a second Robo, so he's going to be pumping double Robo Colossus off of his superior economy. This is a very difficult spot for Haas, and it looks like Haas might actually realize just how far behind he is and try to march across the map and win.
This is a very, very dark position for Haas to be in. How many gateways does he have? Structures, we're just looking still at 3 gateways from Haas. There's not really anything he can do here, Ben. There's no way that he can bump into Colossus, especially not with the defensive power of this mothership core. Sage decides that it's time to add a few gateways. Haas is doing the same thing on the other side of the map. But still, with Thermal Lens about to finish up, +2 on the way, and above all, just 2 Colossus. There's nothing Haas can do. In my opinion, if he plays a straight up game right now and he's going to try to go for Robo units too, he's just going to fall behind. If I was him right now, I'd go for a desperation move and try to get 2 Stargates out.
Sage continuing to try to do cute things with his Warp Prism and those Dark Templar. This time there's 3 Stalkers and an Observer waiting in the main base, so this DT is not going to do a whole lot of damage. We'll pick off a couple of probes, but nothing more than that. Worker count shows us 55 to 42. Definitely still advantage to Sage, as Haas is just trying to play catch-up. He's dropping his 3rd base. He's sitting back. He's taking his time, adding a bunch of gateways.
Warp Prism did get found and will get picked off, but Haas is just adding a bunch of gates, Ben, and he's going to play Immortal Archon, so I guess just without Colossus. I mean, you can never say that's a wrong move, but I think when you're 13 workers down and you're playing against Colossus, you're going to have such a hard time making this work. Of course, trying to get away with the double Stargate transition would also be very risky. Maybe he can drop these Immortals on top of a Colossus. He can get a Colossus for free.
That would be a very nice pickup. 1 Colossus takes heavy damage, does not go down, but Haas, we can see, trying to maneuver his way back into this game with some good micro. That low health Colossus will go down to a single Immortal shot right now, but man, Sage is up to 4 Colossi. Yeah.
The only thing that Haas is going for himself is that he has a few more gates, and he has charts finishing up a little quicker. No, actually he's only on 6 gates himself as well. I thought no, he's on more. Why is his tab lying to me? It's on 8. 8 is I only have 1 contact lens, guys. I'm rather blind. Blame Ben's kitty. Either way, it's still gonna be hard for Haas, like, unless he just somehow completely catches the army of Sage off guard and is able to get like a dream engagement where the Colossus are shooting at stupid things and the Zealots are swarming in from the back. Otherwise he's gonna have a pretty tough time making this fight go his way.
That Warp Prism Immortal drop making its way over towards the 3rd expansion location of Sage, but perhaps overextending a little bit. 1 Immortal. That's very painful.
Very, very nice play there by Sage.
Very clean execution from Sage, who finds himself at 170 supply now. He's in a great position to march across the map and try to end the game. Haas has his 3rd base running, and he's... Oh man, his Immortal count just does not look like it's going to be high enough. He's only got 2 on the ground. There's 1 flying around in the air somewhere.
The armies are kind of similar with the with the addition of 6 Colossus on the side of Sage. Well, I know which side I'm on.
Yeah, it makes for a pretty one-sided engagement ultimately. And as if Sage wasn't in good enough shape already, he's also sending another Warp Prism over towards the main base of Haas, just to complicate things further. Colossi is starting to make the push into the 3rd expansion, and Haas really can't even engage this. Not even
he's going to try to sandwich for a couple of Zealots from the south side over here. That is something, but they come in a little too early, man. All these Zealots are going to melt immediately. This Colossus won't be able to connect with these the Immortal won't be able to connect with the Colossi either. And this is just a very unfair fight. Close your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. This won't be pretty.
Nope. Colossi raining down. Zealots charging forward. The Archon's trying to sponge enough damage, but unfortunately, this is an overwhelming advantage for Sage. The Colossi easily able to dispatch the army of Haas, and with it, Haas is going to tap out. Good game gets called as Sage goes up 1-0 in this best-of-5 series.
A very clean game by Sage, I think. I think he just played solid there. But this game got decided by that single Dark Templar that ran into the natural. Like that first DD picking up a few probes, like yeah, that can happen. That second one, however, while you're being aggressive, it's always so, like, it seems so easy. In the old days, it was just like, hey, I defend against DTs, now I can be aggressive. But it doesn't really work like that anymore because the Mothership Core, it's a lot easier to stabilize